Morning, it's Thursday, March 22nd, 2018. This is the Daily Mix TV by Hill Story Marketing. My name is Sean Patrick Hillman. I'm the CEO. The last couple of days have been a little strange. I apologize that we didn't have an episode yesterday. I made the decision ahead of the nor'easter to close our offices in New York to make sure that our employees were home safe and sound with their families. It worked out for everybody because they could work from home. They were with their families and they didn't have to endure what I understand was a major nightmare in the evening commute. That's actually why a lot of businesses in Manhattan closed yesterday. They were afraid their employees wouldn't be able to get home. Anybody who's been in New York in the last few years knows we are commuter challenged, to say the very least. On to the news. Facebook has a serious problem on its hands, kids. CEO Mark Zuckerberg apologized, finally, for Facebook's handling of the Cambridge Analytica scandal. Quote, "We let the community down and I feel really bad, and I'm sorry about that," Zuckerberg said in an interview with Recode. He also said he was open to testifying before Congress about how Facebook uses member data. In a written statement on the platform, Zuckerberg said he would implement several changes, including limiting user data shared with developers and removing access for apps that haven't been used in 3 months. Sorry, guys, this falls under two categories. Too little, too late, and you can't make this shit up. The fact is that Facebook is very, very dangerous because they do hold all of your privacy information, or private information, including your photos and your habits, those kinds of things. Here's where I have a real problem, though. Over the last several days, Zuckerberg, his sister, executives, they've made no comments, they made no statements, despite the fact that there had been repeated calls for them to comment. Now, they all profited heavily ahead of the stock slide the other day. So they knew that the challenge was coming. They knew that the news was going to break. They cashed out and basically left everybody else holding the bag. That is not a good person. That's not an honest person. And now, all of this has prompted our politicians to dive into what steps to take next in order to protect the people from Facebook, from third parties, from Russian interference, all of these things. And look, while it's fun to catch up on Facebook with old friends and see what kids you grew up with, what they're doing today, Facebook is a business. And tracking data is their job. Reselling that data is their bread and butter. So here's my question, though. You've got all of this private information on there. Why would you trust a guy, and again, I'm guilty of this too, who's been accused of stealing his concept from the Winklevoss twins and settling out of court? Don't get me started on that one. He's been accused time and time again of screwing with insider information, as well as screwing the user base for profit. Remember, every time they change the algorithm on Facebook, it's for their benefit, not yours. So even though they claim, oh, we're making the news feed more efficient, we're doing this, we're doing that, it's to increase profitability, guys. Now, granted, as I said, it's a business, that's their job, but this guy is just he's not a good citizen. While I am just as guilty as everyone else for using this platform, the recent call to hashtag delete Facebook does have me pondering. Even the former WhatsApp co-founder, who made billions when his company was acquired by Facebook, he's told people to delete Facebook because it's horrible, don't trust Zuckerberg. I mean, it's getting pretty scary out there. Now, as usual, the marketer in me has a few suggestions to fix this situation. But given the arrogance and hypocrisy Zuckerberg has shown investors and users, I'm not going to waste my time. Instead, I'm going to give you guys some advice. Check your privacy and security settings. Make sure that you are not sharing information with third-party apps and developers, because that's where these problems stem from. And don't kid yourselves. If you think Twitter and Instagram and Pinterest are good citizens, you're out of your mind. They are probably just as guilty as Facebook is of doing exactly the same thing. Now, look for Facebook stock to continue to slide today and slide severely, and watch for other platforms to follow suit soon as the government starts to look at all social networks and their practices. Are branded properties the next endeavor for consumer packaged goods food brands? Well, pasta maker Barilla has opened 5 fast casual restaurants in the U.S., with more on the way, so they think it's the right move. Now, the legendary Italian food company has been busy fixing its image 4 years after enraging the LGBTQ community for the anti-gay remarks that came from Barilla leadership. And it appears it's working. The restaurants, which emphasize casual, are located in New York and Los Angeles, so two very, very big LGBTQ community strongholds. Now, those locations are in high traffic districts like New York's Rockefeller Center, right next to Radio City Music Hall, Bryant Park, and Herald Square, while the left coast boasts locations at South Coast Plaza and USC Village. Featuring a Mediterranean menu, food critics, which are notoriously difficult, have primarily given the new chain total praise on the quality and the service. That's amazing. The question I really have is, from both a business and a marketing point of view, are we seeing the future of brand messaging and marketing for consumer packaged food brands? Now, the easy answer is let's wait and see, because we don't have enough data yet, and that's true. The entrepreneur's answer would be, oh, hell yes. Here's why. You control the quality of the fare as a representation of your brand. You get to impact consumers on your own terms, and you have the ability to do specific product tie-ins on your property to spur sales, especially of SKUs that are trending down. So, and the last piece of this is you can actually use these facilities as testing grounds for new product. Very smart decision for a brand like Barilla. This will only really work with a mass brand. If you're a niche or a boutique brand, don't do it yet. The business world is not ready for that. The consumer set isn't ready for that unless you've got a killer business plan. For Barilla, because of their critical mass and their mass saturation in messaging and sales, for them, it's a natural next step. So I love this. I can't wait to see what the results are, and we'll keep you posted once we learn more. Now, many of you know I'm a third-generation born and bred New Yorker, specifically in Manhattan. When I was a kid, the notion of a neighborhood was still very prominent in this city. I was born and raised on New York's Upper West Side on Central Park West. Now, here's why I bring this up. When I was a kid, people still knew the owner of the corner store, the manager of the supermarket, or the pharmacist in the family-owned pharmacy down the block. You know the waiter or the waitress at the local coffee shop or diner. These days, not so much. Progress has eliminated far too many of the niceties of life in a city like New York. Now, I also bring this up from a human element point of view. I still, to this day, know the owners of almost every street-level business in both my work and my home neighborhoods. I know the homeless in both neighborhoods. I know a lot of just the regular folks who traverse these areas. Now, unfortunately, you have to remember the old adage, or fortunately, I should say, the old adage is, if you take care of your neighborhood will take care of you. Well, unfortunately, some sad news just hit my work neighborhood. The owner of the newsstand across the street on 57th and Broadway, who's been a friend of mine for 15 years, Kamlesh Patel, has passed away of a heart attack this past Friday. Patel was one of those rare souls that always cared about the people around him. You know, if you only had $2 in your pocket and something was $2.50, because a lot of people don't carry change, Patel was always happy to front you because he knew you would pay him back. And he was always right. You never stiffed Patel. He was a good man. Now, I remember once I had an issue. I had lost my wallet, and I had a horrible stomach virus, so I was really dehydrated. He saw me walking by the newsstand, came running out, gave me a bottle of water, and said, "I hope you feel better. Don't worry about paying me back." Thank you, Patel, for the years of friendship and for always being there for the people in the neighborhood, but most importantly, for just being a good man. Rest in peace, my old friend. Now, for a little Throwback Thursday to close out today's rants and raves, Cosmo.com, which really was the poster child for late 90s e-commerce fails, is being revived as a grocery delivery service. Now, this is an increasingly crowded space, so their point of difference is that they're focusing on bulk purchases. Now, that puts it in direct competition with Boxed and Costco. That's going to be a financial challenge for them in a major way. Now, in another TBT, or Throwback Thursday, KB Toys is also making a comeback in the wake of Toys R Us's liquidation. The KB name was bought in 2016 by a firm called Strategic Marks. They repurposed defunct brand names with the intention of using it as an online store. Now, right before it came out, and you want to talk about timing is everything, Toys R Us was in fact liquidating. Strategic Marks put out a statement saying, quote, "We're going to change the way you buy toys online. Get ready for this comeback. Now, rumors are swirling that KB Toys may actually be headed back for holiday in physical retail form, possibly taking over some of the failed Toys R Us locations. It's exciting times, to say the very least, kids. We'll keep you posted on further developments. My name is Sean Patrick Hillman. I'm the CEO of Hill Story Marketing. I'm also the editor-in-chief of the Daily Mix TV. Have a great day, guys. We'll catch you tomorrow on Friday.